Well, I guess we're gonna get started, everybody.
He was asleep. You triggered him.
Good evening, everybody. We're gonna call the village board meeting for May 10th, 2022 to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor DeBold,
Here.
Trustees Brockman.
Here.
Carroll.
Here.
Chapman.
Here.
Kirkland.
Here.
Luciano.
Here.
And Selfridge.
Here.
All right, everybody is here this evening. Are there any citizens that wish to address the board? No? Move on to this evening's consent agenda, item number C.
Liquor.
Item number 1 will be approval of the special joint meeting minutes from April 20th, 2022. Approval of the regular meeting minutes, April 26, 2022. Approval of the committee of the whole meeting minutes, April 26, 2022. Approval of accounts payable in the amount of $966,270.60. Approval of payment in the amount of $37,455.24 to Ron Turapelli Ford for the 2021 Ford Police Interceptor. Approval of pay request number 1 in the amount of $587,896.11 to PT Farrell for work completed on the MFT street resurfacing. Approval in the payment in the amount of $65,830 to Core and Maine for water meters. And finally, approval of a payment in the amount of $11,340 to Motorola Solutions for our annual service agreement. Are there any questions? A board member has questions or wishes to have further discussion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion Luciano, second Kirkland. Roll call, please.
Carroll.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
And Brockman.
Yes.
All right, consent agenda is approved. We'll move into reports of communications. We do have a couple of proclamations to read this evening, so bear with me for a moment as we go through a couple of these for everybody. First off, we're recognizing National Police Week, which is May 11th through May 17th, 2022. Whereas there are more than 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in the communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Village of Shorewood Police Department. And whereas since the first recorded death in 1786, more than 23,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty. And whereas the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved on the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial in Washington, D.C. And whereas 619 new names of fallen heroes are being added to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial this spring, including 472 officers killed in 2021 and 147 officers killed in the previous years. And whereas the service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty will be honored during the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund's 34th Candlelight Vigil on the evening of May 13th, 2022. Whereas the Candlelight Vigil is part of National Police Week, which will be observed this year, May 11th through May 17th. Whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half-staff. Therefore, be it resolved that the Village of Shorewood will observe May 11th through May 17th as National Police Week in the Village of Shorewood and publicly salutes the service of law enforcement officers in our community and the communities across the nation. Dated this 10th day of May, 2022. With that, Chief, anything that you want to comment regarding the National Police Week?
Coincidentally, that law was passed by President Kennedy 4 days before I was born in 1962. So it's a little special to me that way, but more special because I have 4 friends whose names are on the wall, who all died in the line of duty. Unfortunately, I was at all those scenes. I had to respond. 3 I went to high school with, 1 I went to paramedic school with. So thank you on behalf of the women and men of Shorewood Police Department for passing the resolution tonight.
Thank you. Also, for this week, we want to recognize National Public Works Week. National Public Works Week is recognized May 15th through May 21st, 2022, with the statement of ready and resilient. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, emergency management, and the services that are of vital importance to the sustainable and resilient communities and the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the Village of Shorewood. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are federally mandated first responders and the engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children of the Village of Shorewood to gain knowledge and maintain ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works first responders and public works programs in the respective communities. Whereas the year 2022 marks the 62nd annual Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association, be it now resolved, I, Mayor Clarence DeBoll, do hereby designate the week, May 15th through 21st, 2022, as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the state to be affixed. It's actually going to be the seal of the village. I misspoke. I apologize. Dated this 10th day of May 2022. Noriel, would you like to comment on any activities that you folks are doing in your department?
Oh, well, thank you very much for the acknowledgement. Public Works is definitely busy now that the warmer weathers are upon us. But we are very thankful. So for all the public citizens, please just be cognizant of the work that's ongoing. We do have a lot of construction in the site and very thankful for the acknowledgement.
Thank you. Lana, was there anything else that has been sent that we were not aware of yet?
No, sir.
All right, thank you very much. All right, let's move into this evening's order of business. Item number 1 will be consideration for an approval of the annual appropriations ordinance for the Village of Shorewood, Will County, Illinois for the fiscal year beginning April 1, 2022 and ending March 31st, 2023. This item is up for a first read. Finance Director Burkholder.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the first read of our appropriations ordinance. This does represent our legal spending authority for the village, although we do operate under the structure of the budget. This is what is filed with the county and gives us our spending authority. For that reason, the appropriated amounts are 25% higher than the budgeted amounts. Of course, we would only run into using that in the event of a large-scale emergency. But in the event that that happens, we wouldn't be tied up with exactly what was budgeted. We're not able to take action on this tonight as we do need a public hearing.
And we will do our public hearing in 2 weeks.
I think it'll actually wind up being that first meeting in June, just with the
Oh, is that-
filing deadlines.
Okay, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought we had it tentative
Oh,
scheduled for our
that's
next
okay.
meeting, so I do apologize.
Thank you.
Any questions for Ann regarding the appropriations ordinance? All right, thank you. We'll move on to item number 2. Consideration for approval of repair or replacement of brick pavers at the bridge approach along Town Center Boulevard and waive the bid process. This would be by our Public Works Director, Noriel Noriega. He will further explain the conversation.
Thank you, Mayor. So we are aware that there are some concerns with the conditions of the brick pavers. Apologize for the length of time. I know that this was a topic that we had spoken about briefly at one of our committee of the whole meetings. I know that we wanted to try to make the repairs, but trying to find a contractor today They're not jumping at the projects. So we finally received a number of proposals to review for what we want to try to do. So first, we have to consider whether or not we want to use bricks for the replacement, or if we want to use stamped concrete or colored concrete. And then the final decision that you have to decide is whether or not you want regular concrete. Those are the three options that we can consider. So we did receive a proposal from K&D as the low bid. K&D will be using a Unilock brick that is not exactly the same, but very similar to what's already out there. Their proposal is an amount of $32,500. If you would prefer colored concrete or stamped concrete, the only proposal that we had received is from Butel Services. Stratton Concrete, Muffler Concrete, and Wagner, they decided not to submit to us. So their low bid for the colored concrete is $46,250. If you want it colored and stamped, so it looks like it's brick out there, their bid is $60,000. So we're just looking for direction on which way the board would like to proceed. Based on that, then we will proceed to make a recommendation on one of the proposals. The exhibits that are provided, please, I can't take any credit for that. That's Director Engel that was able to Photoshop that, and it's her expertise that was able to kind of give you a conceptual look at what it potentially could look like. Open to any questions.
So I know we discussed this a few weeks back. So I don't expect the board to come to a consensus tonight on this. I think the fact that let everybody have opportunity to review the numbers, see where everything goes. If we have a consensus, by all means, we can move forward. I know the information got sent out Friday afternoon, but I'm just not sure where everybody, we don't have to have a decision on this evening. Now that we've got some prices for everybody to evaluate and see where everything's at. But by all means, I would like everybody at least to kind of give some input on it.
Yeah, I just want to hear what Noriel has to say. What would you recommend to us? Being that we're not bricklayers.
We prefer something that's more durable, longer lasting, the concrete,
The concrete,
yes.
which is 60,000.
Either the 46,250 or the 60,000, yes.
Or
Or regular concrete, which
which
would
can
be
be done
just
in-house for about,
$10,000 in materials.
if we do it ourselves with our own staff.
Yeah.
And the colored concrete would be red?
You could make it any color you
It can be
prefer.
dyed, whatever. And I believe they put it in the example to help give just an example of what a dyed color would look like. So there's reds, tans, some browns, something of that nature to kind of give you some sort of an earth tone, so.
I propose staying with the brick myself. That's what was put here initially, that to keep it the same, as close as you can get it anyway.
No matter what we do, it's gonna look like a patch, right? Nothing's gonna match up.
In your opinion, how close is the brick match?
I did not look at the samples, but they said it looks pretty close. The bricks would be laid in a manner that if we were to ever expand into the bridge area, we'll just continue with the same brick.
Do you think there's a timeline when that would have to be done?
A little bit of work is needed there. We can patch it up with the bricks that we will be able to salvage from the areas that we're gonna be removing. So we have some time on it.
You'd also have to find a matching brick if it was too far down the line from now.
Correct.
So you're running the same problem we have right now.
Correct.
Do we have any idea how much it would cost if you did the whole bridge?
There was a quote from K&D.
You could
for
expand, he's got
something
yeah, he's got a
$1,000.
per square foot price in there. It
Gotcha.
could be expanded.
The original quote from K&D included the bridge, and it was over 80.
Over 80?
I'm very respectful of the original design of the town center with the brick pavers that we've done out here. it's a big expense. I'd like to see it stay with pavers if so choose, but I do know there's an expense involved there. On the flip side, as Noriel touched on, going to concrete would be a simpler maintenance aspect to deal with. So I can understand the rationale, but yet also trying to recognize the aesthetic aspect that was in forethought that was put out here in the subdivision that when it was designed with the village hall and everything, so.
The concrete's going to
understand.
crack in time.
It is, without a doubt. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm cognizant of both concerns.
What type of maintenance, I mean, going forward? I don't think probably a lot of maintenance has been done in the past with the brick around here. So what would you do to try to prevent going forward to maintain what we have in place?
I don't think there's anything that we could do to prevent uneven settlement. So we can address it sooner than later. I do know is that when we purchase these bricks, I'm gonna try to get a little extra, this
Right.
pallet on the side to be able to store on public works site so that if and when there are cracked bricks that we need, we can easily replace it.
Your bricks are always gonna create a problem down the line. I mean, you're just, every so many years, you're gonna have to
How many
replace
years has
them.
it been?
And then at some point, you're gonna have to replace a whole
That's a
section.
pretty good run.
So it becomes an ongoing problem. With the colored cement, how hard would they have a better shot of matching the color of the colored cement in the future? And than they would the brick?
It will never be exact.
Pardon me?
It will never be exact. Over time, the colored concrete will fade. We can try our best to seal it, to hold that look for an extended amount of time, but just normal wear, eventually trying to get it to match, it'll be a different limestone in the concrete. And when we mix it with the same amount of colored red or colored brown, whatever color we choose, it will never be the same when we report.
So that
Similar
would be
to
the
what-
same, that would be the same for the non-colored cement?
Correct.
They would never be able to match that, but would they have a better chance of matching that than the color?
No?
It's
Oh,
a
I mean, you could,
hypothetically, you
right
know,
now,
you
we
could
have
say
like
anything.
a dull gray out there for the sidewalks, that's just over time, it's 15 years, 16 years old already out there. When we pour new, it's bright white. Then it takes time to dull over time.
If you're wanting, if you're wanting color, how come we can't do color?
Takes a little bit of an expertise to it. Feeling
Meaning
it, I think-
the blending of the pigment into the concrete?
There's a little bit more than just adding the powder dye to the concrete and letting it mix in the cement mix. There's a requirement as they're finishing it, we don't do it often enough, and I'm not comfortable, especially discussing with staff, we're not comfortable enough to be able to do it in a manner that the experts can.
Doesn't the cement manufacturer do that? I know when I've ordered cement in the past that you tell them what you want, the texture and everything else that you want in there, and they send it out just like that. So you're saying that there's an additional step once they mix it for you?
Once they mix it and we put it underground, there's a little bit more expertise when it's being finished by staff.
But if it's concrete or brick, down the road, they're never going to match anyway, right?
That's correct.
So,
I just think colored concrete's gonna fade or wear over time and maybe not look as well even than just plain concrete.
I agree.
Well, plain concrete, even when it changes color, is still somewhat close to what the original is unless it's fresh concrete. When they pour it on the sidewalks, you can see when they put a new one in, but after a few years, that weathers, it almost blends in.
Yeah.
So, I look at it from the perspective is that if you can't match what we have, and it's gonna be an ongoing problem, maybe we should consider just the plain cement. Again, that's just my thought.
It would make it easy for Public Works.
That would be my vote.
So going forward, all the brick would come out, and eventually it all just gonna go to plain concrete? Is that,
For the sections that, if that's what you choose.
well, I mean, down the road, I mean, the same thing's gonna happen in the other areas, so if it's over the bridge, at some point, are you gonna go with concrete going forward in those areas, or maintain the brick in certain areas?
Well,
Question for another day.
Well, I'm just wondering, I
Yes,
mean, you're taking a lot away from, I think, the aesthetics around here.
I think you want to maintain it on the bridge. I mean,
Well, that's the
you could use the
lead up to the,
abutment, you could use the abutment of the bridges, and as they pour in, you know, if it was concrete, they could pour that and use that as an abutment, so anything further would always maintain brick, at least over the bridge, to keep that aesthetic quality there.
And at some point, he's got inventory of bricks that he's taken out there that he can replace on the bridge. And at some point down the line, when you run out of that, maybe you replace the whole bridge in brick.
Sure, and like I said, we're more than happy to get the input from everybody, of course. You'd be towards concrete?
I'd go just plain concrete.
Steve had mentioned concrete?
Concrete.
Concrete?
I think the concrete, because it's never going to match. No matter what we do, it's never going to match. And as long as we can, like you said, keep the bridge brick and then the concrete on the edging, I'm okay with plain concrete.
concrete.
brick,
All right, well,
so.
we got 5, say concrete.
Okay, no action needed tonight, thank
no,
you.
That's fine. Colored concrete or
That was my next question, of
Oh,
course.
okay.
plain concrete?
I, just for clarification for Noriel, of course.
Yes.
Everybody, when you
difference.
say concrete, you do mean regular concrete.
In-house, done
In-house,
in-house. This-
Public Works
yes.
staff taking care of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Just so there's no confusion, everybody's on the same page. All right,
Thank you very much.
so staff will take care of the bridge. All right, moving on to item number 3. Consideration for approval of a proposal for professional services with Tria Architecture for Phase 2 design and Phase 3 construction services for Diana and Kitts Corner Parks reconstruction project into 2020. There's a big typo there. In the amount not to exceed $33,150. Noriel will explain a little further for everybody.
Thank you again, Mayor. So we have developed a 20-year park replacement program. And so we're intending to replace and start with a number of our older neighborhood parks that are almost 25 years of age. So we're starting with Diana Park. Diana was built in 1998. It's in the Sunset Hills subdivision. All the equipment out there is original with some minor repairs and such. We are planning to move it from its current location to the new vacant parcel that we own adjacent to the school. The park itself will have new playground equipment, new surface, new landscaping, new site furniture. We'll also maintain pedestrian access from the subdivision itself to the elementary school. Kitts Corner, also built in 1998. It's also considered the sister park of Diana, same playground equipment. Also over 25, almost 25 years of age. The design also will include new equipment, new surface, new site furniture, landscaping. What we're looking for is a Phase 2 design, which will also include Phase 3 construction services from TRIA, who has also partnered with JSD Landscape Architecture. We are hoping to finish the design in July, maybe even by early August for a bid in October. We will take advantage of our Omnia partnership, purchase a lot of the equipment at government pricing, and then the contract itself will be lended to actually construct and install the playground equipment. We are also looking for K-Crest Park to be reconstructed. This one was built in 1997, also original equipment. What's a little different with this neighborhood park It also includes almost approximately 15,000 square feet of open space. It's a little bit larger park. There's recommendations from the consultant that we should visit this for the next construction season and see if we can lend itself a little bit more construction funding, because it is a bigger park, a little bit more amenities. It also includes a half court. So the design will also, or TRIA's proposal also includes a Phase 2 design and a Phase 3 construction oversight for this park. But we are looking to design it this year and construct it next year with the construction funding of next year. So in general, what we're trying to do with all of our parks and the 20-year park replacement program is design 1 year, construct the following, but with the intent of Diana and Kids Corner, try to push those along a little bit sooner. We know that there is a need for park improvements. So I'm looking for 2 actionable items. There are 2 contracts in here with TRIA. The first one that I'm looking for is for the Phase 2, Phase 3 design and construction for Diana Park and for Kids Corner in the amount of not to exceed $33,150. Then the second action would be our recommendation for
Let's just focus on that one for now.
any questions.
Is there any grants available for this in the future that we can get, or is, like we did for the river crossing, is there anything out
There's
there?
none for these neighborhood parks
Yeah,
that I
these-
know of. The bigger the park, the more likely you're going to get an OSLAD grant or something to that effect, yes.
Just curious.
Yeah, we inquired, we reached out to a few folks, and they kind of all said the same thing. Neighborhood parks, we kind of,
Over 600,000, who would have imagined? That's just unbelievable. $600,000 for them 3 parks.
oh yeah, they,
Can't turn the clock back to 99, can we? No, anyway.
yeah, the park equipment is expensive. And the other nice thing about keeping in mind with the Diana Park is there will be a shared walking path that'll allow access to the school.
I just have one more question.
Yeah, yeah,
How many
please.
parks do we have? Not counting the ones that are coming up.
About 20 parks.
We have
Pardon
about
me?
20
About
parks.
20 parks.
20?
I don't remember offhand, but it's about 18, 20 parks.
Yeah.
Where is Kids Corner Park?
Fox Bend subdivision.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve a proposal for professional services with TRIA Architecture for Phase 2 design and Phase 3 construction services for Diana and Kids Corner Parks reconstruction project in 2023 in the amount not to exceed $33,150.
Second.
Motion Kirkland, second Don Carroll. Roll call, please.
Chapman?
Yes.
Kirkland?
Yes.
Luciano?
Yes.
Selfridge?
Yes.
Brockman?
Yes.
And Carroll.
Yes.
All right, the first contract approved. Noriel, you can further explain the K-Crest Park, please.
Okay, so with K-Crest, as I was indicating, we're recommending professional services with TRIA Architects for also Phase 2 and Phase 3 construction services for the 2023 K-Crest Park reconstruction project, not to exceed $27,850. Any questions with this one?
Are we looking to expand what's there currently? I mean, I know there's a lot of space there.
There's definitely opportunity.
Okay.
We don't even have a half-court basketball
right.
area in that area, so we would like to see if there's opportunity for it. There's 15,000 square feet of open space. I'd like to, as part of all of our contracts, there is going to be community involvement. We'll reach out to see what does the neighborhood want. So if there's opportunity for us that we can afford, there is a little bit of space, we'll definitely expand the park.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve a proposal for professional services with TRIA Architecture for Phase 2 design and Phase 3 construction services for K-Crest Park reconstruction project in 2023 in the amount not to exceed $27,850.
Second.
Motion Kirkland, second Luciano. Roll call, please.
Kirkland.
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
And Chapman.
Yes.
All right, that contract's approved. Item number 5 will be consideration for approval of a contract with PT Farrell Construction in the amount of $17,395 for the paving of the existing gravel path along Route 52 between River Road and Del Webb Boulevard, and asking to waive the bid process. Public Works Director Noriega.
Thank you again. So I know that a number of years ago, I want to almost say over a decade ago, when the Del Webb subdivision came in, people were looking for the continuity, the bike path along Route 52 to get to River Road. When Lenny's was constructed in 2010, 2011, 2012, that timeline, there was, again, just that missing piece. But I know that staff, thinking that there was going to be future development, it would be part of that developer to be able to provide that bike path continuity, but that never evolved. So sometime in the year 2014, 2015, staff decided to put temporary gravel at that location, and that's been there since. That gravel, we get constant complaints and inquiries from local residents looking for something a little more. So with PT Farrow in the neighborhood, working right in the Westfield Village, we thought this was a good opportunity to save on mobilization costs. We reach out to them for a price. So staff is recommending approval of PT Farrow's proposal in an amount of $17,395. Waive the bid process for the paving of the temporary gravel path along Route 52 between River Road and Del Webb Boulevard. Any questions?
And we know this is a project that I think every one of us up here has received phone calls on routinely about when can we do something on this. And Noriel had reached out to PT Farrow. They said they can just compact the existing surface and pave over it. And of course, any new development that comes in would have to, of course, replace it to maintain, so at least at this point, we maintain connectivity with paved walking paths. So.
Make a motion to approve a contract to PT Farrell Construction in the amount of $17,395 for the paving of the existing gravel path along the south side of Route 52 between River Road and Del Webb Boulevard, and waive the bid process.
Second.
Motion Kirkland, second Selfridge. Roll call, please.
Luciano.
Yes.
Selfridge.
Yes.
Brockman.
Yes.
Carroll.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
And Kirkland.
Yes.
All right. That's taken care of. We'll get that paved. I'm sure now the phone calls will be, thank you, we got the bike path paved. All right, let's move into our department reports. Building.
When they're happy.
Just an update on the abandoned Verton House off of Black. I did speak with the owner and I told them they gotta do a better job of boarding it up with the windows and put a padlock on the doors. And they are considering just demolishing the whole property, but they're just going through the numbers right now, so it's early. But they are aware of what's going on up there.
You say he's got a bid that he's interested in?
They don't have a bid yet, but it's a family process, and they're trying to just get all the family on board to think the same, which is, yeah, it's gonna be tough, but in the meantime, they are aware that we're watching them.
Any other questions for Mark? Thank you. Community development.
We had a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting scheduled for May 4th. There were going to be a couple of public hearings, one to discuss a conditional use to make a expanded Shorewood Fitness, and the other one to discuss a public hearing for subdivision signage. Unfortunately, there was an error with the newspaper set up for the public hearing notices, so we couldn't hold those public hearings. We've rescheduled that meeting for May 18th and kind of taken advantage of the later meeting date to squeeze in a couple of additional projects that are new. We're going to add a conditional use permit for a business called Home Sweet Home. It's an event venue going in on Jefferson Street, and they want to basically create a nice open unit where people can rent the space to host bridal showers, baby showers, parties, things like that, some craft events and stuff. So that will be going in, I believe it's Apple Tree Plaza. And then we'll also be entertaining a site plan amendment for the outdoor dining and drinking area at Hamel Creek Commons, and this will be shared by Will County Brewery and Mauve. So we'll talk about that at the May 18th Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and then hopefully at the next Village Board meeting as well. As you know, the Will County folks came through a few years ago and asked for permission to do an outdoor dining area. When the pandemic hit, they expanded that into the parking lot, and they were very successful with that. So they got together with Mauve, and they've decided that they want to do the necessary improvements to the parking lot to be able to expand their outdoor dining area. They're lucky their business is doing really well, so they're able to do this. A couple of the other businesses did the temporary outdoor dining areas due to COVID as well. They like it, they want to continue doing it, but they're not quite in the position that Will County Brewing is in, where they can go for a full permanent patio at this point and do all the, construction and everything that's necessary. So I wanted to get your opinion on what you think of maybe letting some of the businesses, like Mad Hatchet and Maddie's, or places like that, continue with their outdoor dining areas this year for one more year, kind of coming out of COVID, and then if they want to keep them permanently, then they come forward over the winter, so that way they can do them in a more permanent fashion next year. Just wanted to get some feedback if that's something that you'd like to entertain.
That would make the most sense. I believe most of our, and I, by all means, want the opinion from the rest of the board, but my opinion on this, by all means, we've seen a lot of businesses succeed, and a lot of folks are trying to enjoy some of the outdoor dining opportunities that have been made available. I think the best thing for us right now would be is to help encourage any businesses that want to partake one more year in temporary outdoor seating. Let them do it, and as you touched on, I think then moving into the winter, if they want to continue this next year, try to come up with a permanent solution.
I agree.
Great,
Agree as well.
Yeah.
perfect. All right, we will get that going. One other business we wanted to talk to you about is Slyby. Slyby has been in the village for a number of years in a couple of different locations. They're currently located on Frontage Road, as you're all aware. In case you didn't know, basically it's a business that buys up pallets of materials that are returned. So for example, when I go return stuff to Kohl's, it goes put on a pallet and sold to a place like Slyby, and then it sells them at auction for the majority of the items. And then they either get shipped out or people come to the location to pick it up. So they've been in their location for a number of years, and the business is currently for sale. Steve Fitzgerald is here. He's actually coming to check out your village board meeting and get to know a little bit about the process. He is part of the group that's interested in buying the property. And then when they started doing their due diligence, we realized that they really needed a conditional use permit. So in conjunction with this new ownership, we'll do the public hearing for a conditional use permit to be able to continue Slyby as it's operating today. Steve and I have talked a little bit about some of the concerns with garbage and businesses starting inside without permission and stuff like that, and it sounds like he'll be completely on top of that, but I just wanted to bring it up to you guys and see if there were any other concerns you wanted us to keep in mind with this business as we go through the next steps, because they're coming very close to closing, so we want to make sure that we've got, we're keeping track of everything.
I'm not aware of any complaints from anybody in the neighborhood. The biggest one that we hear repeatedly, though, is garbage.
Yeah.
It's people pulling pallets out of there and trying to load them into their vehicles, and the debris is just left. The landscaping gets littered, the roadway along the Frontage Road gets littered, and Mountain Road gets littered. If that can be controlled, I think you're in good shape.
Didn't they have a place like that on Earl?
This is the same business. It was
They
on
moved.
Jefferson, then on Earl, and then on Frontage.
They expanded.
Yeah.
So I know it's unconventional to bring this up today, but they're very close to closing, and this kind of came up in the last minute, so I thought we'd just put it out in front of you in case you knew of anything that was exceptional, so that way they at least have some level of comfort. At this point, I think we'll put it on the next Plan Commission agenda that's available and bring it forward to you probably in the next month or so. Yep, that's it.
Thank you. Finance, Ms. Burkholder.
Thank you. As you may be aware, the village's auditors will be on site 2 weeks from now to conduct their field work on our audit for the fiscal year that ended back March 32nd of 2022. You should have all received some written communication from them explaining the process and asking you to answer some questions and return them back on to them. If you've got any questions about what you received in the mail or the process in general, you can contact me at any time. Otherwise, the audit partner's contact information was in that letter, and you're welcome to contact him at any time also.
Any questions for Ann? Thank you. Parks?
Hello,
Hey, Luke.
how's it going? So a quick update, Parks and Recreation update. We are still accepting applications for the summer camp counselor for our summer camp for the summer. If you are interested in applying, we have the employee application and stuff on our website. Our next event that we have coming up is our Shorewood Show and Shine Car Show, sponsored by Gas and Wash on May 21st. Registration for cars open up at 9 and runs till 11. The event for spectators runs from 10 to 3. Then we have our Memorial Day ceremony, May 30th, 9 a.m. out here at Town Center Memorial. And then just a quick preview of our summer stuff. Our Party in the Park starts June 2nd, along with our artisan market that coincides with that. We have our Shorewood Barbecue and Brews event that's set for June 11th. That'll be out here as well at Town Center. And more information in regards to all the summer events and summer programs will be in the upcoming summer newsletter. We're good. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Police, Chief Arnold.
Just a few things. If you notice a lot of vehicles at the police department this week, we are doing some in-service training today and again Thursday. So a lot of officers will be there doing in-house training that we do, CPR, some refreshers on emergency response techniques and so on. The only other thing I have is that I will be out of town next week on vacation. Both deputy chiefs will be in town in case something happens, and as you all know, they're very capable. So, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works.
Thank you. Well, Public Works is busy. We have a lot of restoration efforts that we are still ongoing with a lot of the water main breaks that we had over the winter. We're also filling a lot of our potholes and doing a lot of asphalt patching. Staff is also getting our splash parks ready so that it's going to be opening up on Memorial Day. We're also still evaluating low-flow nozzles for those parks as well. Public Works facility. We're approximately 71% complete with the building. We're continuing the electrical, the metal framing, HVAC, and continuing plumbing install at the building. Drywall and insulation and drywall is scheduled for next week. They're preparing the floor in the shops, the fleet, the wash bay for concrete flooring also next week. And you might start seeing outside work happening again beginning next week with site work. They're still going to finish the paving of the site, final grading in the rear yard, and then you might even see the building starting to get painted. There is a mock-up corner already with what the building is going to be painted. They did a sample for us, and we have approved it. We are a little bit behind schedule. So they had provided us a proposal with all the documentation showing how many days that they are behind schedule. Right now, they're proposing a July 1st completion date for the offices, all the shops, and the mechanical bay area. That will also include the training and the locker rooms, but a July 15th for the garage itself. As explained to us, though, the garage at the July 15th for the garage, it'll pretty much be 99% complete with punch list items and touch-up painting of the lines in the bay itself, and that also includes a little bit of the holiday for the holiday 4th of July. TRIA has reviewed their proposal. A lot of the award delay, a lot of the delay are surrounded by when we took a couple more weeks in the beginning of the when we bid the project to review the contract. There was also a little bit of delay when we approved the change order. There was a redesign adding the 4th mechanic bay. That was an additional 2 weeks. plus all of the weather delays and a little bit of the crops when we had to wait for the farmer to harvest the crops. So they're looking for approximately 70 days to be added to the construction schedule with a substantial completion for majority of the building on July 1st and garage again July 15th.
Say that again? You just said they want to add 70 days?
Which brings us to July 1st.
Well, our original completion date was anticipated about June 1st.
April 29th for the original.
They were shooting for April.
April 29th
Originally
on the
they were.
contract.
They've got to be done and out of that building before July 15th.
Understood.
They have to be out of the building by July 15th.
They have a construction schedule that have been submitted. We review it almost daily with them. TRIA understands our concerns and will push the contractor.
All right.
MFT resurfacing, oh, I'm sorry, any other questions on that? MFT resurfacing is ongoing. They're approximately 60% completed with the project. Much of the paving and concrete work is completed up north in the Huntington Village subdivision. They had finished the paving also in the Robin Hill subdivision. They are currently finished the concrete in also Kipling Estates in Westfield Village, and they are now paving in Westfield Village. IDOT Black Road reconstruction of the bridge. When I say reconstruction, they're just maintenance of the bridge. They had anticipated an April 26th start date. They have been working underneath the bridge, so there was no lane closures. But if you have traveled through there, they have the temporary signal installed. They're planning to do a turn on that signal on Thursday. Anticipate that a two-lane, one way in each direction will begin shortly thereafter, and that will be for the duration of the summer. Any questions?
So one lane will be open both ways on Black Road. It won't be one lane with the light changing so that the other,
Correct. It's one lane each direction, so
Okay.
there'll be two lanes.
well, that was my understanding, but then when they put that light up, I thought maybe something.
The
was
traffic signal is more for the truck traffic, the large traffic coming southbound on the frontage
Oh,
road and
okay.
entering into Black Road. And because of the proximity of that roadway to the bridge itself and with the lane closures, the trucks cannot make the turn without the signal stopping traffic
Oh,
accordingly.
okay.
Any other questions for Noriel?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we go back to the Public Works building?
Yeah.
Yes.
On the, I'm curious on these delays, how much time is on them? I mean, what you had mentioned, weather and all that, but how much of the delay is actually because of them?
Honestly, we rejected all of their claims and requests for material supplies, chain, delivery delays. We did not honor any of those.
Did they want more time if you would have?
They were asking originally for 110 days.
Wow.
So the recommendation for TRIA is just the weather delays and the two delays that I had spoken about, the award and the redesign of the building to add the fourth mechanic bay.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Administrator Klima.
No report.
All right. Move into our trustee comment part. Trustee Brockman.
Thank you, Mayor. Natalie mentioned that we had to cancel last week's planning and zoning, so we have it scheduled for next Wednesday. So other than that, no report.
Thank you. Trustee Carroll.
I have nothing.
Okay. Trustee Chapman.
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing.
Okay.
Tonight.
Trustee Kirkland.
I have no report.
Okay. Trustee Luciano.
Just wanted to mention that the Citizens Advisory Committee is going to be meeting Thursday, May 26th here at the Village Hall. At our last meeting in May, we had 18 members attend, plus the guests. At that meeting, we got into the discussion, the library May-June newsletter came out, and they had some interesting things in there that I wasn't aware of, and we had a little discussion about it. One of the things that stood out that we weren't aware of, or I never was aware of, that you can get the vehicle license stickers at the library now. And with that, with the discussion we had there, the members, I asked the members if they'd like to have the library come and give us a presentation, and they did. So we've got a presentation from the library at the September meeting, when they were able to make it. And like always, if anyone's interested in getting involved in the committee, our phone number, or not our phone numbers, our emails are on the website, and you can contact myself or any of the members, and that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Selfridge.
No report.
All right. I'll ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss land acquisition, sale, or lease of real estate owned by the village.
So moved.
Second.
Motion Kirkland, second Luciano. Roll call, please.
Selfridge,
Yes.
Brockman,
Yes.
Carroll,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Kirkland,
Yes.
Luciano.
Yes.
All right, we are moving into executive session. We will adjourn. There'll be no action taken after executive session, so we will adjourn from there.